Hello and welcome to the Premier League show. We've done match week 2 and it's been another exciting season in the top flight. Welcome to Back of the Net. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
And yes, I've got a Bournemouth shirt on, but Tom hasn't. So we have got a Bournemouth slant, but it's also neutral. And it's the view from the south. The reason that we call it that is because many media pundits had us at the bottom of the league, so all we're doing is looking up. We're not really at the moment. And also, we're on the south coast, so it's a view of what's happening in the top division, and it was an exciting week in the Premier League. Loads of headlines this week, mate.
Yeah, there was, mate. There was some big results. There was some surprises. There was some good wins, some really good battles. I mean, on the Sunday there was handbags, and it was really good. And it's been a really nice, enjoyable start of the season, I think. And it's still quite hard to work out this early where teams are going to be, but competitive league already.
40% of people viewing this video won't have subscribed to the channel. I don't know why you would not press the subscribe button, but there are benefits to doing so, aren't there, mate?
The massive benefits, mate. Yeah, you don't have to keep thinking, have they got their Premier League show out again? And you subscribe, it'll come up on your own page. If you click the bell, it'll let you know when it's out.
Ding, ding, ding.
And click the like, then it gets out to more people and they can enjoy it as well, because you don't want to keep it all to yourself. So yeah, do all them things. We really appreciate it.
Come on. Thank you very much for doing so. Make sure you tell your friends as well. Right, we're going to go through the weekend's fixtures, starting then with the lunchtime game at Villa Park. Villa Park, Gerrard v Lampard. There's that kind of new manager dynamic. But
both under pressure early.
Yeah, Villa rode out 2-1 winners. Wasn't overly convincing, really, but he got the job done. Yeah,
they needed to win that, I think, after losing to us. I think that was a game that Villa needed to win at home. Made a few changes and got the job done. I think he'll just be happy that he got the 3 points over the line. Everton, they're going to be in for a long season. It was a difficult game for them, though. I think they would have liked to have maybe tried to nick a point, but it's going to be a long season for them. And Villa, after what we saw as well, they need to improve, but they got the job done, mate. So it was a relatively comfortable win for them in the end.
Then came the 3 o'clock games, and if we're going in alphabetical order, got to start at the Emirates. Arsenal 4-2 over Leicester City, and it was one of these games where Leicester City kept coming back into it every so often, but Arsenal just had that something special. And this season, it feels different in and around the Emirates, not least the atmosphere in the stadium as well, which I thought was really good, and the talent they've got on the pitch. Jesus was brilliant. Yeah,
they're starting to look a bit tasty now, a bit dangerous. Who's their next opposition?
Don't.
They're starting to look a bit tasty. I mean, Leicester did show that you can get them still, but they've got a little bit more quality up the top end of the pitch now. I think if, last season when they didn't have Jesus, obviously, and they lost to Aubameyang, you're thinking, would they have drawn that game? Because, they haven't got the firepower, but they're starting to show it early on. They look dangerous, and they look like, early signs of that they can really threaten them top 4 places for sure. So, looking forward to inviting them to Dean Court.
Cannot wait. Okay, goal fest at the Emirates. What about Brighton? Not so much, but you know what? Looking at that game, mate, I mean, it didn't feel like Newcastle had that many chances. I know Callum Wilson with a high boot, probably, I think Alan Shearer, obviously a Newcastle fan, is saying that it shouldn't have been a free kick. It was. He put it in the net, but Brighton seemed to be peppering the Magpies, I've got to say.
Yeah, I think Brighton, I think I said this on the last week's show, I think they're get quite underrated, actually. I think Graham Potter's a really good coach. They play good football, and it doesn't seem to matter what players they put out. They know their jobs. I kind of expected this to potentially be a draw, but I didn't think it'd be goalless. I think both teams like to play on the front foot, so that surprised me a little bit. But they almost cancelled each other out. So I expected a score draw there. I think my Super 6, I went like 1-1 or 2-2. But draw doesn't surprise me, and I think both teams will kind of think, okay, it's not, we both could have won that, but draw's not a bad result. Brighton will think Newcastle are a good side, and Newcastle think not many teams will go to Brighton and get something, so we'll take it as well.
Yeah, the battle of the English managers remained all square then. So, at the Etihad, Manchester City dispatched of AFC Bournemouth 4-0, and it was a formidable performance from the Sky Blues with goals from Gundogan, De Bruyne, Foden, and there was an own goal in there for good measure, but it was a masterclass from them, wasn't it? The citizens were on fire, they really were, without even having to get out of third gear.
The shock of the weekend, mate. Bournemouth not going to City and getting anything. What a shock. No, they were, obviously, we managed to see that one up close and personal, and they're pretty good. They're pretty good, and they done exactly what was expected of them, didn't they? And that's all you need to know about City, is they're playing a team that won the first game against Villa, and 4-0 is what's expected. That's how good they are, and they were brilliant and thoroughly deserved the 4-0 scoreline.
Some pundits have been expecting that Southampton might be in the bottom three, and in the first part of the game against Leeds United, well, up until the 72nd minute, it looked like they could be right. Leeds United went 2-0 up at St Mary's, but thanks to Aribo with a shot, I felt he dallied on it too long, but he managed to get the shot away. But then Walker-Peters late on managed to secure a draw. At one stage, I was thinking, Jesse Marsh, he might be proving himself in the Premier League.
I think it's a weird one, this one, because Leeds are 2-0 up, so they want to win the game. But I think Leeds will probably be looking this season and thinking, make Ellen Road a fortress, but when we're on the road, get points. And that's a decent point. But because they were 2-0 up, they're probably disappointed. Southampton will be thinking, we need to look at these games to win at home, but they were 2-0 down, so they're probably relatively pleased. So I think both of them, again, I think they both come out of it probably thinking, point will do, that's not too bad. But and that's probably, for teams that are going to be mixing at the bottom, them two cancel each other out is probably not a bad thing. But they're both teams that the early signs are, I'm not quite sure yet. Leeds, I think, they look a little bit better than I thought. Southampton, I think, I'm still not convinced. Be interested to see, mate. But yeah, draw probably not a massive surprise, but fair play to Southampton to come back from 2 goals down.
Meanwhile, at Molineux, it was 0-0 between Wolves and Fulham. And look, Wolverhampton, they had chances. I mean, Neto was not quite an open goal. It was a bit of an angle, but probably should have done better. But Fulham will be ruining the late chance that they had from only 12 yards out as they won a penalty. And Mitro, he put his penalty to the bottom right when he took it last weekend, but this time he put it a bit to the left, bit too central. Good save from the keeper. And Fulham, they'll be ruining their chance. That was a good chance to get 3 points there.
Yeah, it's another one, mate. Fulham probably go there and think, get a good point there, but when you get a penalty near the end at 0-0, you want to get all 3. And Wolves will be thinking, we need to be beating Fulham at home, but then when you concede a penalty, you take the point. So it's another one where both teams will be thinking, we could have got 3 there, but probably not too despondent with the draw. Wolves are definitely missing Jimenez up top. They haven't got a focal point and they're struggling with that. I think they'll probably be okay. I think they've shown enough signs that even without him, they can then get enough points. But yeah, another one that I think both teams will probably settle for the point.
When you're Bournemouth fans and you lose 4-0, you think you're going to be the talking point of the weekend, but fast forward to 5:30 p.m. and the live televised game on Sky Sports, and then Brentford against a despondent, dishevelled and absolutely awful Man United under Eric Ten Hag, and my goodness, they were absolutely destroyed in no less than 35 minutes with the Bees 4-0 up, with a performance which is absolutely baffling from the Red Devils. The Bees, to their credit, were absolutely brilliant as well. What a game it was, mate.
Yeah,
wow.
Amazing. I mean, Brentford, we've had this before, but Brentford probably ain't getting enough credit because of how bad Man United are at the moment. And Brentford, I'll tell you what, you watch that back, and yes, De Gea is shocking for the first 2 goals, but it's all because of the Brentford press, especially that second. The press is brilliant, and they're looking at a team that they're definitely not. They're not right at the moment. So you got, when you're playing a team that are below the levels, and the pressure's on them. You got to do that high pressure. You got to give it. You don't want them to have time on the ball, make them make mistakes, and Brentford done that expertly.
And there were errors all over the pitch.
All over the pitch.
De Gea with the first one, Howler playing it out to Eriksen a couple of times where he lost possession. It wasn't good all over, mate.
Awful, and I think I've been one losing Eriksen. Ironically, he was at Man United in this game. I thought Brentford might struggle, but they start the season and they look good. And they deserve a lot of credit because they're not going to get much of it because of the Man United bashing. But talk about the owners, you can talk about loads of different things, but the players ain't good enough, and the way they set Eriksen, last week he played up front, this week he was playing the holding midfield role. I mean, it's just madness, but they look atrocious, mate, and they got Liverpool up next. So Man U having a tough start, and it's weird thinking Brighton and Brentford, and I'm not that surprised that they've got 0 points. That says all you need to know about Man United at this moment in time.
Absolutely does. On the Sunday then at the City Ground, Nottingham Forest 1-0 against West Ham, and this was an interesting match because I thought that West Ham had the bulk of the chances here. They had a penalty that was saved, and I thought they were unlucky not to get something from this game. But Nottingham Forest, they stood firm. Talk to me about it, mate. Talk to me. I'd
probably say they'd done enough to get a point out of the game, but West Ham, I mean, the goal that got disallowed as well. I mean, that's just harsh, and I felt that West Ham will certainly be saying decisions didn't go away, but didn't get the rub of the green. Forest did get the rub of the green, and to be fair to him, I might be pronouncing it wrong, but Awaniwi got his debut coming for Surridge, ex-Cherry, and and he's been a big signing for them. They need him to get goals because you look at their team, they've made unbelievable amount of signings, but you think where the goals should have come from, and he's one that they're relying on a little bit. So they'll be pleased to see him get off the mark. Really good result for them. I think they're going to be reliant on that home form. West Ham will feel really, really disappointed if they didn't get something out of the game. But credit to Forest. That's a big win for them.
And then, what a game it was at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Spurs. It was really good. Koulibaly, I mean, my goodness me. What a volley. What a volley.
Centre half, what a strike. Yeah, I mean, the marking wasn't great from Tottenham, but the way he's caught that is sensational. I mean, watched the game in Tottenham were awful, in my opinion. I thought Chelsea were brilliant, but just couldn't get, enough goals for the possession and the play they had. But what Tottenham fans would say, and rightly so, is they've normally got a soft centre and they normally lose these type of games. They showed a different mentality. They showed a Conte side mentality where they went, we haven't played very well today, but we haven't played well. We've got a Chelsea and not lost. That's big. That's big. They're going to get better. And they kept fighting. They're very lucky with decisions. I think they were very lucky with that last goal. I mean, was it Romero pulling Cucurella's hair down? How that wasn't seen. But Tottenham got out there with a point. They'll be pleased. Chelsea won't be too happy. And Tuchel and Conte, some handbags on the side. I love to see that, mate. I love to.
Do you remember?
Love to see.
Do you remember Banzai on Channel 4 where they had that challenge of shaking the hand with someone random for as long as you possibly can without them going like, "That's weird."
I already feel uncomfortable. Yeah.
What was that all about? Sweaty palms, mate.
I've got sweaty palms.
But Harry Kane there in the last minute getting a point for Spurs, and then on the Monday at Anfield, tell you what, Palace. They deserve some credit for that, mate. They really do.
They do. I think Vieira's got a really good team there, and he seems like a good coach, mate. It's still early days for him. He's only had one full season, but yeah, I'm liking the look of them. They put a bit of pressure on Arsenal the week before, and were unlucky to lose that one in some ways. But yeah, I mean.
Pep must be licking his lips now looking at the league table.
It feels like it's done. But they'll come back, I'm sure of that. I think that they will come back. They've just started slowly. But we've seen enough with Klopp. We know what Klopp can do. But yeah, they'll be disappointed, mate. They'll be really disappointed because Fulham and Palace on paper should be 6 points for Liverpool. So they will be disappointed, mate.
Brilliant stuff. Okay then. So let's go on to Tom's team of the week. Tom, do you want to do the honours?
There it is.
Right, we've got a formation of a 5-3-2 here. Is that about right? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with, I think. Like you say, they'll play a little bit. They're all flexible. They're fine. But looking at the players, I think this is the system I want to go with this week.
Are we going clean sheets? Are we going penalty saves? Who's your keeper this week, mate?
I'm going for both. Jose Sarr got a clean sheet, but it's the timing as well with that penalty save against Mitrovic. Big save late on in the game. They couldn't. I don't think Wolves could have afforded to lose at home to Fulham, and you suddenly start worrying. So that's a big save. He had an unbelievable first season for him last season, and he's looking good again. But yeah, clean sheet and a penalty save. What more do you want from your goalkeeper? So he has to go in for me.
All right, mate. So should we start on the right-hand side of defence then? Who are we going for?
Right on the right wing-back spot.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Reece James.
What a good goal that was, eh?
Great goal. I mean, they actually went to a 4 and he played right back. But yeah, we know what he can do and. Yeah, big moment, big goal, and defensively he was pretty solid as well. And I like to see Reece James doing what he's doing because it's good for England. But I really like him, mate. And yeah, it was a great finish at a good time. He's just got everything. Reece James, really like him. So yeah, he's getting in there for me.
Right, who's across the back for you then?
So we'll go that right centre back role. I'm going to put Ben Mee of Brentford. First goal for Brentford. I thought when they got him from Burnley, that was a really astute signing from him actually because he's got Premier League experience, but. Him getting his first goal was big. Clean sheet against Man United. He was a rock. He's playing against Ronaldo as well. I thought he was really good. And Brentford, as we mentioned earlier, mate, they're probably not going to get all the credit they deserve because of what's going on at United, but they do deserve it. And yeah, Ben Mee, centre half, scoring a set piece and keeping a clean sheet. What more do you want?
Are you going to put another scoring centre half in there?
I am. We spoke about it briefly. Koulibaly, because that goal. And another one, new signing. I thought he played really well. They were unfortunate to concede a couple actually, but I thought they lost Rudiger, Chelsea, and I thought that was going to be a big loss for him. But he's come in, just looks like he can just come straight in for him. He's better on the ball than I thought he'd be, but the technique for the goal from the centre half was special.
Really good. It was almost off the outside of the right boot.
Really
just hit it really sweetly. All right, who's your next?
Tyrone Mings.
Ex-Cherry,
who I'm not a mad fan of. Got to be honest.
You know what? It was clear in some interviews that there were certain issues there with Stevie Gerrard, but he's put him straight back in. And well, look,
Well,
paid its dividends.
he's probably going to be playing a lot now because he actually come in for Konza, but his partner, Diego Carlos, is now out for, I believe, 9 months.
Yeah,
It could be out for the season, real blow for him. But Ming's come in, he's been stripped of the captaincy, there's been a lot of talk and you're thinking, God, he's on his way out. He comes in after a poor first performance, comes in, they win the game, he marshals the defence pretty solidly.
Yeah, I thought he was super.
And he deserves credit for that because he could throw his tools out the pram a little bit and he come in and play really well. So yeah, credit to Mingsy there because he's come back, fought off the haters. You know, we know he's getting a lot of stick, so he deserves a lot of credit, mate. So yeah, Mingsy's in there for me.
All right, and on the left side, left wing back?
I'm going to go for Kyle Walker-Peters at Southampton.
Okay.
He's one that I think if England didn't have so many options, he could play on both sides. He'd probably be getting a nod in previous years, but he's struggling because of the competition. But I like him. I do like him.
All right, isn't he?
And Southampton are probably, they're looking at their squad at the moment, and a lot of Southampton fans are thinking they need more players. But he's one that's one of the first names on the team sheet. Yeah. And he can get the odd goal, like he did. He can get the odd goal, get the odd assist for Southampton. He's been good in the opening 2 games. So yeah, Walker-Peters for me at the other side.
Okay, across the midfield, we've got 3 there. One slightly more defensively in the middle. So we'll start with him. Who's he going to be?
Granit Xhaka.
I thought he had a good game.
Granit Xhaka for me, he's another one in terms of that Mings thing that he gets a lot of criticism, doesn't he, Xhaka? And I can see why sometimes he gets a lot of silly bookings and red cards, but scored a good goal, had a few chances, and as you say, he's a bit more defensive. But with all the signings Arsenal are making and everything they're doing, the more he's getting better players around him, you're thinking, oh, he's actually quite good.
He's benefiting from that.
Yeah, he hasn't got that responsibility of having to be everywhere, and he can just kind of let everyone else. He's almost coming into a role where he's going, I'll get the ball and I'll give it to the players that can make things happen. But he also got a really crucial goal, and he deserves a bit of credit, Xhaka.
Safe to say that he's won the hearts of the Arsenal fans back.
I'd say so. And I think it could happen with Mings, but I think taking the armband off Xhaka like they did a few seasons ago is probably only going to benefit him.
Gives him more freedom mentally. Yeah, agreed. All right, next.
Kevin De Bruyne. We saw him up close and personal, and yeah, he was a joke, mate. Everything come through him. Not going to go too heavy on City. They just got the job done against Bournemouth, and we didn't really lay too much on him. But De Bruyne was class. His goal was different gravy outside of the foot, and yeah, everything come through him. He was brilliant. Just can't speak highly enough of him, mate. Great player, and yeah, he gets in there for me.
Who's next?
Going to go for another Brentford man, Josh Da Silva.
He was good.
Very good. I think there's been a lot of pressure on him this season because they've lost Ericsson, and they're saying that they've all been saying this Da Silva could come through. He scored in both games now. Scored again against United, and he looks like one for the future. He'll probably come in and out of the team, but at the start of the season, he's gone and grabbed that shirt, and fair play to him. So he's certainly one when we come on to FPL. 4.5. A lot of people are thinking about him. He might have gone up to 4.6, I think, now. Yeah. So yeah, he looks like a player, mate. So I've been impressed with him in the opening 2, and got on the score sheet against United, so he'll be well happy.
Okay, I've got a feeling that I will know one of the strikers that you may say, but we'll start off in a fixture at Elland Road where we had little murmurings of you choosing this person, and I completely agree.
Rodrigo, I think. He's up there. He scored in the opening day as well. And he got another brace. They've lost Bamford again already to an injury, and we know how much Leeds struggled last year without Bamford, and now they've lost Rafinha, and you're thinking, where are the goals going to come from? And this lad's starting to show that maybe he can put a few in. He can play in midfield if you need him to, and he looks like a player now. And maybe that season or so to adapt to the Premier League is really benefiting from him, and he's liking the Marsh system and a bit more responsibility. But 2 goals, really good. So he's one to watch, I think.
Elsewhere?
It's got to be Jesus. It's got to be Jesus. Another brace, another striker with a brace. Thought he looked good against Palace, but didn't get the goal to show for it. This time he has. First goal's beautiful. When Arsenal didn't start brilliantly, it's a great goal. He could have got a hat-trick. He probably feel like he should have. I think he's the one that could take him to the next level, to be honest with you. I think he looks really, really good, mate. And that shows how good City are that they let him go. But what a player. Really impressed with him early doors. And Arsenal will be rubbing their hands that they've got a striker that they can put their out on now.
You could have gone for Mo Salah, mate, but you decided not to. But I suppose... First game at home for Jesus.
Yes.
He's got a lot of pressure on him, but also Rodrigo did as well. I mean, I know that Salah did what he did. However, I do quite like the fact that you've gone with these 2.
Yeah, I think you've got to. I think, and you've got to put into perspective as well. I've put only one Man City player in and won 4-0. Yeah. Because you've got to look at this and go with perspective, and you've got to give, as I've mentioned before as well, Brentford ain't getting enough credit because it was because of what's happened at Man U. They deserve a bit more credit, and I think them front 2. As you say, with a circumstance, deserve to get a bit more of a shout than the players at Liverpool. But we know what they can do, don't we? And they've carried that on, mate.
Okay, next then we're going to move on to your various weekly awards, starting with the hero of the week. Who's your hero? Your heroic figure?
It was a difficult one, actually. I looked at that team of the week, and there's a few players in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for Jesus. And the reason I'm going to go for Jesus is I think you've seen in 2 games what he can do for Arsenal. What he can do for... He was brilliant in the first game, didn't score, as I mentioned. He's got 2 goals. That's the difference. You know, they've won 4-2. That's the difference. And Arsenal last season, the difference of them not getting the top 4 was not having a goal scorer. And I think he's going to be massive for him, mate. And
huge.
Looking forward to playing him.
Can't wait.
But no, he looks great. He gives a lot to the team, so he deserves that from me.
Any notable shout-outs this week?
Yeah, my shout-out, I want to say De Bruyne because of how bloody good he is.
He was good, but...
Because he's just brilliant. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the shout-out. I mentioned it briefly when we done the team of the week, Tyrone Mings.
Yeah.
That's a lot to take on your shoulders. And when they come under the cosh at the end, win a 2-1, they have to win that game. I thought he stood up. I thought he really did. And he almost... ironically had a captain's performance, and I think it's all right to be critical of people, and we have been, and a lot of people have been, Mings. So when he goes there and goes 2 fingers up, I'm going to show you what I can do at the back. We'll get a win with me in there. He deserves a shout out.
It was also played out quite publicly, which I felt it probably shouldn't have been.
And he's just got on with his job and had a good defensive display, so he deserves that credit in my opinion.
Who's your gaffer of the week then?
Gaffer of the week, I think again alludes back to this whole thing with the Brentford Man U, Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
4-0 against Man U. Say what you want about United, but he went in there and went, this team are fragile. Press them.
He knew how to set up.
Bang on.
Yeah.
Tactically bang on, because you could still, a lot of managers still go, must be wary though, they got Ronaldo, it is Man United. He went, these are fragile, go at them, we're at home, we can go at them, and it worked. 4-0. And then second half, he's gone, don't let them have a couple of early goals. You know, we've got the job, we've got the win in the bag here, and they were brilliant, and he deserves credit for that.
Okay, with that in mind, I don't know whether your stinker or stinkers of the week will be related to that or not. It'd be interesting. Stinker of the week, Tom?
I'm going to give you 2 again.
Okay.
And you can make the call. So last week, I put in Ten Hag and he's going in again.
Yeah.
He's going in again. I know there's more problems than the manager at Man United.
Yeah.
He's had 2 games and he's got the same players. But last week I said, why is he playing Eriksen in the false 9? This week I'm saying, why is he playing Eriksen in defensive midfield?
Yeah.
Madness. And then at half-time, he just swapped McTominay for Fred. Like, what's that going to do? And it was all a bit weird. I don't think he really knows what he's doing at the moment. So he's got to be one of the shouts. And weirdly, one of the stinkers this week was got a shout out last week and was in team of the week. Mitrovic. You're playing Wolves away. It's a tough game, but you keep yourselves in it. You're 0-0. You get a penalty. Go and get your 3rd goal of the season, and he missed it. I know it's a good save from Sarr. He missed the penalty. That's a big moment. So Mitrovic's in there. He's gone from hero to villain for me. But
you've really put the pressure on me. You know we've got a loving Fulham audience here.
I know. We put him in team of the week last week, but that's a big moment.
I can't look past Erik Ten Hag though. I cannot.
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. He's in.
He's in.
He's stinker of the week.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
Man U is general at the moment.
Yeah.
And
absolutely dreadful performance. And he doesn't even look like he's got many answers. And I really hope it works out for him. But Neville, Redknapp, almost having spats. Yeah. On the pitch afterwards with the analysis. Really interesting to hear both sides.
Look at me when I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah. Right, mate, can I just talk about fantasy football, please? FPL.
You're doing better than me, so I don't really want to. You're doing all right, mate. You're not too bad. I'll tell you what you did well is I said at the start, I like to go back to this. Rashford was a weird shout from me. I can see what you're thinking, but that hasn't quite worked. That could be one. I don't know what you're thinking.
Well, I didn't substitute out last week. I didn't transfer last week.
So you got 3. You got 2 free transfers now. Then.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Rashford could be a shout.
He's got to be one of them, and they got Liverpool next week, right?
Yeah, and I think he's a bit of money. You could get someone like a Martinelli in there. I think or you could even get a player that's cheaper and bank some money there, mate, because it hadn't happened for him. But you're not the only one that's thought, oh, could Rashford do something under Ten Hag?
To be. Jesus though, 19 points.
I got him
Kane,
as well, mate.
16. The only thing I'm sort of looking back at, like Neco Williams.
Could have put him in, clean sheet.
7 points.
I think most people have got Neco Williams on their bench though. I don't think they expected that. But yeah, that's a solid team, mate. You probably feel a little bit hard done by that. Saka didn't do anything when they've scored 4.
Yeah.
Arsenal scoring 4 and Saka not getting one's a little bit harsh for you. But I remember us both talking last week going, oh, we haven't got Haaland for the Bournemouth game. We might have to transfer him in. Neither of us did. We stuck with Kane. Haaland didn't score, Kane did.
There we go.
Happy days. But yeah, it was not nice little. I think, you know, for your first season, mate, you're starting all right there. I think you should be relatively pleased with your start of the season.
Thank you, mate.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that. And as ever, at the end of the show, we're going to run through quickly next week's fixtures, and I'm just going to
Rattle them out,
just
mate.
give them predictions, score predictions. Don't tell me you win. I want to know the scoreline.
Okay.
Spurs Wolves at lunchtime.
Comfortable 2-0 Tottenham.
Palace v Villa.
1-1 draw.
Everton home to Forest.
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going to go 2-1 Everton. They've got to win at Goodison.
Fulham versus Brentford.
1-1.
Interesting. Leicester City versus Southampton.
1-0 Leicester.
Evening kickoff. AFC Bournemouth versus Arsenal. Leave your bias at the door.
2-1 Arsenal.
On the Sunday, Leeds at home to Chelsea.
I'm going to go for a 2-2. Ellen Road, tough place to go.
West Ham against Brighton and Hove Albion.
1-1 draw.
This is a hell of a game. Newcastle at home to Man City, 4:30.
3-0 City.
Okay.
Look at that Monday night.
And then Monday night, Manchester United versus Liverpool at Old Trafford.
You ready for it?
Go on.
6-0 Liverpool.
No way!
I'm telling you.
Wow.
They're going to murder them.
This will be interesting. There we go then. That's our predictions. Anything that we've said today that you disagree with? Let us know in the comments. It's been a pleasure, Tom.
Been a pleasure as always, mate. Looking forward to, hopefully we can have a bit more. We've got Arsenal then Liverpool. Oh, it's hard. I'm glad we leave our bias at the door for this one. But yeah, nice review of that, mate. Exciting season. So I just thinking then when I was going for the predictions, there's some tight games again.
Yeah, there are.
Looking forward to it, mate.
If you're doing your Super Six, good luck
Yeah.
to you. But until the next Premier League show, until the next video on Back of the Net, up the cherries, up the Premier League.
Up the chairs, Premier League.